This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
It's 8:45 p.m. This is the news broadcast from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation, edited by J. Yogaraj, read by Soundithavam. The President and the Australian High Commission in preliminary discussions on renewable energy investments. A circular issued reducing public officers' compulsory retirement age. The Lotus Star to launch operations tomorrow. The core group on Sri Lanka to present draft resolution at the UNHRC session. Applications call for the rescrutiny of the 2021 AL results. 5 Indians held in Sri Lankan waters with the whole of Kerala cannabis. In news overseas, the Kremlin says Xi and Putin to discuss Ukraine war at meeting. And in sports, midfielder signs new Barcelona contract until 2026 with a €1 billion release clause. A preliminary round of discussions is held between President Ranil Wickremesinghe and the Australian High Commissioner Paul Stevens to explore the opportunities for investment in the renewable energy sector in Sri Lanka. The discussion was held at the Presidential Secretariat this morning with the participation of a group of Australian investors, the President's media division said. President Wickremesinghe has given priority to encouraging new investments in the renewable energy sector as a solution to the current electricity crisis and to ensure uninterrupted power supply, the release said. A circular has been published reducing the age of compulsory retirement of public officers up to 60 years. The communiqué was issued by the Secretary to the Ministry of Public Administration, Home Affairs, Provincial Councils and Local Government, MMPK Maya Dunne. A special relief program is being implemented in Mullaitivu district, which is funded by the World Food Programme. Under the first phase of this program, a sum of 15,000 rupees will be provided to selected 3,083 persons in the district. The pregnant women and infant-feeding mothers and physically disabled persons are also included. 30,292 people will benefit from this project. The Tourism Ministry has planned to provide an electronic card that allows tourists visiting Sri Lanka to make payment for their purchases without using cash. The Ministry's Secretary Chulananda Pereira said that the amount of money a tourist spends in Sri Lanka can be easily calculated with this card. He revealed this information at a ceremony held in Kandy yesterday. The Secretary said that travellers will have the convenience and security while making payments through e-cards without the use of cash. Adding a novel experience to the people of Sri Lanka, the operations of the Lotus Star in Colombo is scheduled to kick off tomorrow. The loan agreement between the Telecommunication Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka, TRCSL, and China was initiated with the commencement of work on the local Lotus Star in 2012, while the loan installments are due to be completed by 2024. $66.39 million of the loan has already been paid. The Chief Administrative Officer of Colombo Lotus Star Private Limited, private company, retired Major General Prasad Samarasinghe has said that both local and foreign investors have joined to invest in the Lotus Star, and 22 investors have so far expressed their interest to enter into contracts. Meanwhile, orders have been received to host 15 different functions at the tower by December 31st this year, he added. Following the commencement of its operation tomorrow, the members of the public will be allowed to visit the tower by purchasing a ticket for 500 rupees or 2,000 rupees. For a foreign national, the ticket is priced at $20. Those who purchase a ticket for 2,000 rupees will be given the opportunity to enter the premises without standing in a queue and to climb to the top of the tower several times during a single visit. Meanwhile, those who purchase the 500 rupee tickets will be allowed to visit the top of the tower only once. considered to be the tallest self-supported structure in South Asia, which is measured up to 356 meters in height. The Lotus Star was ceremoniously handed over to the government of Sri Lanka on February 28, 2022 by the Chinese company following the completion of its construction work. Thereafter, Colombo Lotus Star Private Limited was established and its operations were entrusted to the company. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank, yes. Digital savings account, say yes to challenge.
The core group on Sri Lanka is planning to present a draft resolution to the 51st session of the United Nations Human Rights Council, UNHRC, seeking the promotion of reconciliation, accountability and human rights on the island nation. The core group consists of the United Kingdom, the United States, Germany, Canada, Malawi, North Macedonia and Montenegro. In its draft proposal, the core group has called upon the government of Sri Lanka to fulfill its commitments on the devolution of political authority, which is integral to reconciliation and the full enjoyment of human rights by all members of its population. It also encouraged the Sri Lankan government to respect local governance, including through the holding of elections for provincial councils, and to ensure that all provincial councils, including the northern and eastern provincial councils, are able to operate effectively in accordance with the 13th Amendment to the Constitution of Sri Lanka. The core group went on to underscore the importance of addressing the underlying governance factors and root causes which have contributed to the crisis, including deepening militarization, lack of accountability in governance, and impunity for serious human rights violations and abuses. A special operation mounted by the Sri Lanka Navy and Sri Lanka Coast Guard led to the interception of an Indian dhow carrying 434 kilograms wet weight of Kerala cannabis and the apprehension of 5 Indian suspects aboard in the northwestern waters last evening. The coordinated operation has also made way for the apprehension of a local fishing trawler along with 5 Sri Lankan nationals suspected to be involved in the incident. The 434 kilograms of Kerala cannabis recovered during the operation was found in 9 sacks, and it prompted the SLCGS Suraksha to seize the stock of narcotics along with the 5 Indian suspects aboard the dhow. Both the Sri Lanka Navy and the Sri Lanka Coast Guard remain ever alert to prevent a wide-ranging illegal activities stemming from sea routes around the island. As an extension of these efforts, the SLCGS Suraksha, engaged in the special operation, inspected a suspicious Indian dhow in Sri Lankan waters west of the Kuduramale Point, Puttalam, through the International Maritime Boundary Line, IMBL, yesterday. And with that, we conclude local news.
People's Bank, yes. Digital savings account, say yes to challenge.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Department of Examinations says that applications for the re-scrutiny of the 2021-2022 GCE Advanced Level Exam results can be submitted online from tomorrow, September 15th until September 28th, 2022. The Commissioner General of Examinations, Mr. LMD Dharmasena, stated that the applications can be downloaded and submitted through the department's official website, www.donets.lk, and came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka, PUCSL, today introduced a hotline 077-568-7387 to address the inquiries by consumers related to the recent electricity tariff hike in the country. The PUCSL chairman, Janaka Ratnayaka, said the measures are taken considering the increasing number of complaints that have been received on the calculation of the new electricity tariff. The main objective is to make sure that there is a smooth transition and help consumers in every way that it can convince the general public the electricity bill, tariff calculations, and minimize the issues that consumers face. The regulator approved a new electricity tariff revision providing relief to domestic electricity consumers from August 10, 2022, after receiving comments from the public and other stakeholders through a public consultation process. In addition to this service, the public and other stakeholders can connect with the PUCSL by calling 0112 392 607 or 0112 392-608 and emailing info@pucsl.gov.lk or consumers@pucsl.gov.lk or www.facebook.com/PUCSL. And that came to you in Watchlight, and we now move on to a bulletin of world news. Making headlines tonight, the Kremlin says Xi and Putin to discuss Ukraine war at meeting. Ukraine war, President Zelensky visits city recaptured in rapid counter-offensive. And the Queen's lying in state, somber procession begins ceremony. China's leader Xi Jinping and Russia's Vladimir Putin will discuss the war in Ukraine and other international and regional topics at their meeting later this week, the Kremlin says. The two will meet in Uzbekistan at a summit that will show an alternative to the Western world, the Kremlin said. Mr. Xi is making his first trip overseas since the start of the pandemic. President Volodymyr Zelensky has been to the recaptured city of Izium, a key logistics hub in the northeastern Ukraine. During his visit, Mr. Zelensky thanked troops who took part in the counterattack against Russian occupiers. He oversaw a flag-raising ceremony and said the Ukrainian flag would return to every city and village in the country. Ukrainian officials say they are targeting towns in the eastern Donbass region after making a series of gains in a rapid counter-offensive. Queues are building in London ahead of the Queen's lying in state, with hundreds of thousands of people expected to pay their respects to Britain's longest reigning monarch. Many endured pouring rain overnight to join the long wait to file past the monarch's coffin at Westminster Hall, where it will lie in state for 4 full days until her funeral on Monday. Back to the headlines of the world news. The Kremlin says Xi and Putin to discuss Ukraine war at meeting. Ukraine war, President Zelensky visits city recaptured in rapid counter-offensive. And the Queen's lying in state, somber procession begins ceremony. That concludes this bulletin of world news, and moving on to development news. Sri Lanka attracted 37,760 tourists for August and 500,472 up to September 4th for 2022. The best month for 2022 was March, which attracted 106,500, and February 96,507. Sri Lanka is slowly but steadily receiving more tourists. This is also evident that the country is returning to normal. It should be noted that tourism is one of the main foreign income sources for Sri Lanka, and came to you in development news.
Sports News is brought to you by...
With many values that bind us beyond the transaction, we are Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Let's soccer news. Spain midfielder Gavi has signed a new contract with Barcelona until 2026 with a €1 billion release clause. The 18-year-old has played for Barcelona since 2015 and was under contract until 2023. He made his first team debut in August 2021, aged 17 years and 24 days, becoming the 4th youngest player in the club's history. Gavi has started in all Barcelona's La Liga matches this season. And that came to you in sports news. We'll look at business news next.
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB, now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Ceylon Bank conducted an export-oriented workshop for small and medium Enterprises SME owners in partnership with the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce. Whilst due attention is paid to SMEs in general, the Ceylon Bank aims to go beyond the usual boundaries and focus strongly on the export potential of this sector. According to the International Finance Corporation, the SME sector, with over 1 million SMEs, accounts for 75% of all businesses, making up a large part of Sri Lanka's economy. That came to you in Business News. We'll look at economic news next.
Business News. Sponsored by
The fastest way to earn the highest interest from NSB. Now extended till the 30th of September just for you. Your short-term deposits receive an attractive interest rate of 20% in 3 months and 22% in 7 months. Visit a bank branch or a main postal office today. NSB, the only bank with 100% government guarantee.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Sri Lankan exporters must endeavour to enter the Japanese health food market and add to the vital foreign exchange earnings for Sri Lanka, Suresh Jemel, Chairman CEO of the Sri Lanka Export Development Board, said. The global health and wellness food market is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of over 5% to reach $1 trillion by 2027, and the Japanese consumers also have become more health conscious, demanding clean and healthy food products that support healthy lifestyles. That's economic news. The weather report up next.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
In the weather report, a few showers will occur in the western and Sabragamo provinces and in the Kandy, Nuwara, Galle and Marchara districts. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the International Weather Forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather was cloudy with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature was observed to be around 28 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 26 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in selected spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 27 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index AQI is 24, which is fair air conditions in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure. And to conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The President and the Australian High Commissioner in preliminary discussions on renewable energy investments. A circular issued reducing public officers' compulsory retirement age. The Lotus Star to launch operations tomorrow. The core group on Sri Lanka to present draft resolution at the UNHRC session. Applications call for the re-scrutiny of the 2021 AL results. 5 Indians held in Sri Lankan waters with the haul of Kerala cannabis. The Kremlin says Xi and Putin to discuss Ukraine war at meeting. And midfielder signs new Barcelona contract until 2026 with a €1 billion release clause. With that, we wrap up tonight's news broadcast.